Hello, everyone. My name is Julianne Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. Happy St. Patty's Day. I got to tell you a little secret here. The last 25 years or so, I've never, ever remembered to wear green on St. Patrick's Day. Always, every single year, it has been the day after that I end up wearing green. So this year, it's a little army color, but it's green. So we have broken tradition, people. I am so excited about that. But anyway, enough about that. I am excited about today's guest. Let's just bring her on. Her name's Mary Welp. Welcome, Mary. I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So I would love for you to tell our audience and me a little bit more about yourself and your own wellness journey.
Well, I'm wearing green today because I have green eyes, and that has always gotten me out of the St. Patrick's Day pinch because I have green eyes. My name again is Mary Welp, and I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and I have developed and I teach a practice called RISE Hypnotic Meditation.
There we go. And a book.
And a book. I'm a very visual person, so that helps me. But so I have been doing craniosacral therapy and hypnotic therapy for 20 years with people, so one-on-one. And then when the pandemic happened, the one-on-one stopped, my office closed, and I sat home thinking about the therapy that I had started working with my clients, teaching them self-hypnosis and doing it as a meditation practice so that they would do it daily to kind of reinforce the work that we had been doing. So I've tried to develop a very direct, simple practice that anybody can pick up and do. So it's kind of meditation meets self-hypnosis. It's kind of meditation with a punch. You get to work with something that you want to address in your life.
And I love that. And for those people who aren't really familiar, what's the difference between meditation and self-hypnosis?
Well, self-hypnosis, you're usually directing for a specific issue to shift it, whether it's an imprint or a fear or a habit, or many of our peak athletes use it as well for peak performance. So it's a way to kind of bolster, to go in and work with those fears and those imprints that hold us back and let those go. And the meditation part of it is to keep it as a daily practice and to keep it as something that is somewhat ritualistic and repetitive so that your body and your mind can get used to the practice and use it as well as you can.
I like that idea because it is a practice. So, you know, and it's about progress, not perfection. But I'm curious too, and this is just for my own curiosity. And I'm sure if I'm curious and somebody else is probably curious too. And this has more to do with, well, actually both, I suppose. What does it mean, or does it mean anything in particular if you fall asleep while you're doing this?
No, it really doesn't. Especially because when you usually fall asleep is when you're done. You know, your subconscious has got it. And also, it really doesn't matter what level of relaxation you're in for it to work. I think it's a real misnomer. Stage hypnosis has kind of given us a bad rap, that you're somehow going to be out of control and your will is going to be taken from you and you're going to be a zombie and you'll do whatever I say. And that's really not how it works. Really, people are more awake and aware when it's going on and are participating in the practice. So it's something that you would set an intention for. I would like to shift this energy. I would like to be more patient. I would like to get better sleep. I would like whatever your challenge is of the moment. And then address that and then work on shifting that energy. And especially with imprints and things like that kind of hold us back, those things that we've been told that don't really resonate with us, but they kind of stuck.
Or if it no longer serves you.
And it no longer serves. And I love the title of your podcast because it is about owning your own wellness. It is, we've got to take it on and really look at ourselves and look at where our challenges are. What's holding us back from doing those things that we really want to do, that our souls are longing to do, that we came here to do. And, our culture and our life and brings a lot of challenges and a lot of roadblocks along the way. So I'm hoping that RISE will be a tool that people can use to really help open doors and step into their best life.
I love that. And I definitely want to talk about RISE, but I actually have a question first that I would love for you to answer. And this is an opinion question. So, can't get it wrong. Okay. So when it comes to the modality of therapy, it always seems to be that you need to find the root cause of whatever. I personally, therapy has helped me personally in the past. I don't necessarily find it helpful to find the root cause of certain things. I don't need to know where it started. I just need it to not be there anymore. So if I can change it, without having to go back and experience all that again, then why wouldn't I do that? But I'm just curious what you think about, or if there's a huge difference between the meditation versus the therapy.
Meditation is more just calming your mind, trying to focus on one thing. It brings a lot of physical benefits and a lot of emotional benefits. But the self-hypnosis, again, is where you kind of crank it up a little bit to shift or to move something.
Okay. So it's basically unblocking something and letting it flow through.
Yeah. And a lot of times we don't know what the cause of the block is. We don't know. We just know we're a little fearful of something, or we're not quite comfortable about something, but you don't really need to name it to let it go. And it's really having that frame of mind of, I'm tired of this. I'm over it. I'm ready to let go. I'm ready to move on. And really, even just by setting that intention itself, that is huge. That is really so huge to say, I'm done. I'm over it. And let's move on to something more positive, more empowering, more true to who I am.
Exactly. And I love that you use the word empowering, because I have an addiction background. So, and I'm not putting down AA or anything like that, or even rehab or anything. I worked in rehabs for 5-6 years. But my point is that at some point, I don't need to necessarily know what caused it, or there doesn't need to be a reason. All I need to know is that I'm not going to be that person anymore and develop new skills.
Right. And a lot of time it is reframing.
Yeah, exactly.
If I used to do it this way, if this was my stress reliever before, what is my stress reliever now?
Exactly. And I feel too that with what you're teaching people is that, it fills that void. If you take something away, naturally it's going to fill up with something else. So what, you might as well choose
something
instead
productive.
of by default.
Positive. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely. I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about RISE.
Sure. Well, it's a 4-step process. That RISE is an acronym. So I didn't want people to have to look at a piece of paper while they're lying there trying to meditate, that it would be very, very, they're smooth flowing between the steps. So R stands for relax, and you do a progressive relaxation or something to kind of focus your energy and your concentration inward. I stands for imagine, which you want to go to a safe place. Somewhere out in nature is really wonderful for safety and for comfort. But sometimes people also like to go somewhere that they were as a child, that they felt good, or some other place of safety for them. And then S stands for suggest. And suggest is where you do the work, you shift the energy, you do the if, then, now, what. You could picture your challenge also as a physical object. So your anger could be a red hot ball of flames, and you put it in cool water and it turns blue and it softens and dissolves. You can use a lot of different imagery. Our minds love story. We talk in story, we learn through story. So kind of coming up with a scenario of a way for you to shed whatever challenge or block that you have. You would do it during the S step. And then E is to empower and do just exactly what we were saying. If you're going to release this energy, what are you going to empower yourself with now? And if you do shift an energy, how is your life going to be different? How are you going to be different? How are people going to treat you differently? When you get challenged, how are you going to deal with that? So really feeling that strength and the power of the shift that you made for yourself, and feeling the self-love that doing the work is all about, that's feeling it in the E stage. And so you do these 4 steps, and that's RISE.
I love it. I love that so much. It's simple but profound. So, because I know if it was a million steps, or something I had to really concentrate on super hard, I probably wouldn't do it. So,
well, and honestly, how I came about this is when I learned to teach self-hypnosis, I found it kind of convoluted. I found it complicated. I found it not direct. I found it kind of wishy-washy. And I, like you, I like things very direct and simple, and that it has a formula and a format.
I like that too. It's just easier for my brain to grasp. I just figure, I've got so many other things that I would rather spend my brain power on than,
yes,
and not something that when I'm trying to focus and relax.
Yes. Right.
So something that I'd really love to talk more about is imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I want to talk about it is because a lot of people don't understand the power of it. They just think, yeah. And how silly is this to imagine this? But can you explain a little bit why imagery can make such a big difference in somebody's life?
Imagery is really important because it brings you into your senses. Mm-hmm. And through our senses is really how we change, how we grow, how we experience the world. And it also focuses our energy more inward into our body. So if we're thinking about, if we want to go, say, to a beach, and we go to this beautiful private beach where we're going to do our work, you want to feel your toes in the sand, and how when you dig your toes down, it gets cooler the further down you go in the sand. And you want to really bring forth that, and bring forth the smell of the salt water, and the smell of the coconut oil in the air, and the sun on your skin, and the sound of the birds, and the waves and the size that they are. And you want to bring all of your senses alive. And that really allows you to delve down into the subconscious too. It kind of has a way of kind of starting to work with that story. But the comfortable, relaxed place is a place so you can feel safe to do the work, that it won't feel overwhelming. It'll feel comfortable.
No, I like that too. And also, I'm sure too that our brain can't tell the difference between fake and real. So
very true.
Why aren't we? Yeah.
What we think is what we believe.
Exactly. Or exactly.
Thoughts are things.
They are. They're made of energy.
Things.
Yeah. Everything's made of energy. So
so true.
No, I love that. So for somebody who's starting out, for example, and they just have no idea, and they're just dipping their toe in, trying to figure out what's going to work for them. What would you recommend somebody like that to start with?
The first thing I would do is think about something that you love. Something, even if it's chocolate ice cream. And think about the way that chocolate ice cream feels in your mouth, and the way it tastes on your tongue, and the way it looks in the cup or on the cone, or however you have it. And just think about something that you love and that you enjoy, and just help really bring up those positive feelings. And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. Just really relaxing your body and going to something happy and pleasant really helps to reboot the nervous system. It helps to let everything down, let it all relax, and then shifts your mind to something positive. Our minds can be trained. Our minds are really very habit forming.
Yes.
So it's like training your dog. If you're going to train your dog to sit, it's not going to do it the first time you say it and the first time you give it that treat. But after a couple days of working with your dog, you'll say sit and the dog will sit. And it's the same with your mind and your body. If you get in the same position, in the same place, with the same intention for a few days, as soon as you go to sit down in that same place again and do the same work again, your body will know right off, okay, we're going to do RISE. Okay, we're going to relax now. Okay, we're going to take a break and reboot our nervous system now. So it's habit. It's practice. It's practice.
And how long should you do this practice each time?
It really depends. It does not take very long at all. I usually do it in the evening. I do it every night when I'm going to sleep and when I lay in bed. And I think about what went right that day. And I make it a little bigger. I'm like, all right, good job. That was great. The things that didn't go so well, the mistakes I made, I give myself some compassion and some love and say, okay, you can do better tomorrow.
I love that you said that too, because as you know, our memories are very faulty anyway. So most of what we remember isn't actually what happened. So why not create a better story?
Yes. Yes. I've also used it. I've been triggered before in a restaurant or in a public setting and gone back to the bathroom and gotten in a stall and sat there, relaxed my body, shifted my consciousness and what I was thinking about and how I was thinking about it, and kind of regrouped so that I could go back out there and sit there comfortably because I got triggered.
That's a really good point, because that was going to be my next question is, this is a daily practice that we are working on. But when you do get triggered, there's a way to sit there and, like you said, so for you, you could go to the bathroom and do that. But do you notice too that the more you practice, that the less triggered you get?
Yes. Yeah. And the more in control I think I am of my emotions. And that's something I do work at. Yeah, because I'm a very emotional person. I feel things deeply and I feel the room. I feel everybody else's energy in the room too. So, I have to kind of cut myself some slack now and then.
I used to think I was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too.
Nobody explains that to a little kid. They don't understand.
Yeah. No, we just kind of sat in the corner and,
Yeah, exactly.
tried to regroup.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point too, that I just kind of want to mention for people that maybe haven't quite figured that out sometimes. Sometimes when, you're feeling these emotions, but that they're not yours. Maybe they're actually not.
Yeah.
Like, where's this coming from? This doesn't make any sense.
And it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just how you're wired.
Exactly.
And it's learning how to work with the way that you're wired.
No, and I think that's really important too, because that self-acceptance and learning how to live in your body while you're in it is such an important thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was just thinking too, they have that saying about New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Well, I kind of feel like if you can master your emotions, you can master anything.
Practice.
And it's a lifelong practice, but
sure.
So is there ways that you can tell if it's being effective in your life? Like, what kind of benefits might you start noticing in your own life?
I think emotional balance, what we're talking about now. I think also having more self-compassion. And I think also just feeling more comfortable in your own skin. Yeah. I know when life gets chaotic or when I'm confronted with something unpleasant, I will freeze. And I will just freeze. Don't know what to say. Can't move my feet. It's kind of gives me a tool to get back in my body. I can work through that process a little bit easier now. And I think it also, I know because of the benefits of meditation themselves, they also decrease inflammation in the body and help regulate the nervous system and regulate, the hundreds of, if not thousands of hormones we have in our body. So there's many, many physical and emotional and spiritual, I believe, benefits from doing it, because you're also taking a few minutes out of your day, even if it's 5 minutes as you're falling asleep at night, to check in with yourself, to say, okay, how'd your day go? How you doing? You okay? We treat our friends better than we treat ourselves. And we check in on our friends who are struggling and having trouble. But we don't really necessarily check in with ourselves and give ourselves that same support, same love, same compassion. And if nothing else, this does give you a few moments to focus inward and have some care for yourself.
I love that. And actually, I was literally just talking about the quote question that I love, which is, if I were to ask you to list your priorities and the things you care about, how long would it take you to list yourself?
A good one.
And it's just like,
yeah,
wow. Yeah. Most people don't even think about themselves as part of that list.
Yeah. Another one I've heard was, what do you spend your money on? You can tell your priorities by what you spend your money on.
Yeah.
Do you spend your money on yourself? Do you get self-care? Do you take yourself on a trip? Do you get a massage? Do you take yourself out to dinner?
Yeah.
Do you buy yourself a nice bottle of wine? Just because.
Yeah, we'll do that for our significant others and our pets. But when it comes to ourselves, it's like, oh, that's too expensive. Or I'm not sure about that. It's true. Yeah. And, the other thing, too, is if you really have a problem, and this is the way that I kind of talk to clients about this, it's like, if you really have a problem with trying to put yourself first, and that's usually what me and whoever we're going to work on. But the point is that if that is what your issue is, then realize that if you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anybody or anything else or do as good of a job. So
yeah.
It's not even selfish if you think about it from that point of view.
Oh, it's so true. And it's kind of cliche about, the airlines, and when the mask falls, put it on yourself first. But it's essential. It is. We need to take care of ourselves. And I think especially as women, we weren't really raised or taught to put ourselves on a very high priority. We're caregivers. We're taught to be caregivers. So it's kind of making sure we're in the mix.
Absolutely. And, so here's one, and this is personal, but my birthday's coming up, and it's actually my boyfriend's birthday coming up too. Our birthdays happen to be a day apart. So anyway, he said, oh, it's our birthday's coming up. And, all excited because we're going on a trip. And and my first thought was, oh my gosh, I'm about to be 44, which is young. But the thought was, oh my gosh, I've already outlived my mother. My mom had passed away. Like I'm alive longer on this planet than she's been or was on this planet. And it was such a whoa kind of a moment. But the one thing that she did teach, and it drove me bananas when I was younger, she would take a trip for herself and leave us kids. And I was like, well, you're supposed to put us first and all this. And now I realize that, gosh, if she only had that much time anyway, then I'm glad she had the opportunity to go on those trips and do those things.
She had the clicker to herself.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? And it took yesterday for me to really think, wow, if it was me and, I had already, if I died at the same time, I would have wanted to go on those vacations and had those experiences. I'm glad she got to have those experiences.
Right. Yes.
So I just hope that, a lot of people realize that they don't have to have something significant happen in order to have that appreciation for themselves and their own lives.
Absolutely. And, I'm 62 and life is short.
Life is short.
You think you're going to have forever. You think the days go on forever. I'll get to it. I'll take care of myself when I'm retired. But it's not, it's a daily practice. It's a daily practice because I think we're also needed on the planet. We have a lot to give. We have a lot of service to do, but we can't if we don't take care of ourselves.
Exactly. And on that note, because that's a perfect note, we are going to go to commercial break. So we'll be back in just a moment. All right. As I mentioned, we do need to go to commercial break, but as per usual, I do want to say hello to everybody who's watching us live. You are very much appreciated, and we will be right back. Are you someone who is struggling to move forward because you suffered a loss? Maybe you're even finding it difficult to complete the most basic tasks. Are you looking for a way to start enjoying life again without feeling guilty or the resistance to do so? Spiritual life coach Sarah Stockham saw a need for people who haven't learned how to grieve without putting their entire lives on pause. And so she created a program that solves this issue called Choosing Life Right Now. This program is simple and you can do it on your own. If you are ready to learn how to feel your grief while still being able to smile, to honor the sacredness of what took place as a loss, and yet still continue to live with joy, and if you'd like to take care of your whole being with grace and love, then I'd like to invite you to experience her new program called Choosing Life Right Now. Sarah is currently offering her program for the promotional price of $77, but it won't stay at this price for long. To learn more, check out her website. The address is on the screen. Now, you can vibrationally align your aura. You can gain a larger and spiritual perspective on life, relationships, God, people, wellness, and money. You can also have moments of meditation and reflection any time of the day. And reading the thrilling, adventurous, and mystical story of Shiga will just add more faith to your daily experience of the mystery of the universe. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us now, my name is Julianne Meyer, and I am the host of Own Your Wellness. And today's special guest is Mary Welp. Let's bring her back. Hello, hello. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So I think now it would be a fabulous time to talk about where people can find you.
Yes. This is my website. And on my website, I have quite a few videos. So there's Rise for Guilt, Rise for Sleep, Rise for Patience, Rise for Peace. Nice. There's also a video that explains why Rise works and how it works, and a lot of other information there. And also how you get a hold of me.
Oh, perfect. And so we do want to talk about that as well. But first of all, you also have the book, which you showed before. I'd love for you to hold that up again for everyone.
Yeah.
And then where can people find this book?
Amazon.
Woo-hoo! And is there a link on your website as well that links to Amazon?
There
Okay.
is a direct link to Amazon.
And is it the book about teaching or is it stories?
No, it's really the workshop. It's the whole package. It's the how it became developed, how I brought it together, and what it can be used for, the 4 steps and how you use those, how you marry it together as a meditation practice. And then in the back, there's also about 30 different suggestions. So RISE for smoking cessation, RISE for health problems, RISE for phone use, cell phone use, for weight loss, for test taking, different suggestions on how to do RISE in the back for certain specific issues.
I love that. And something else that you and I were talking about before the show started was that you have workshops. So I'd love for you to tell a little bit about that, because something is unique, and I'm going to say it. You travel.
I do. I was so excited to get back out in the world. I love to travel. So it's been hard for me sitting home the last couple of years. So I travel. RISE is a 3-hour workshop. So you will learn the practice, how it works again, why it works. And then also the last half of the class is spent on guided imagery, and I'll talk you through the process, but then I speak less and less. So by the end of the 3 hours, you know that you can go home and do this practice. You can own it. You can make it yours. And we've kind of talked through all the different ways to individualize it. And you've kind of figured out what you want to try and what you think the best way for you to do it is. So I do love to travel. If you have a group who's interested in learning RISE or a workshop or retreat or anything, please reach out. Love to come see you.
I love that. I love that. That's unusual. Not everybody does that, especially because of how COVID changed the world.
Yeah, and I'm an optimist. I'm just hoping, things are getting better, and that we're figuring out ways to deal with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
well, I live in California, and here we pretend like it doesn't even exist. So, I mean, which is, kind of ironic considering how many people I know that have gotten it or even passed away from it. But yeah, in California, it's like, Corona what? COVID what? So I don't know.
It's just part of our world now, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think it is. So, you and I were talking too before the show that you might be, if I can convince you, I'm hoping, to do a little guided imagery for the audience or with the audience.
Oh, I would love to do that.
All right.
And what I'd like to do is just the body progressive relaxation. And that has so many benefits. It'll just take about 5 minutes. So if you're watching this, if you can turn your phone off for a minute or put it in airplane mode or close the door, and get comfortable.
And I am going to take myself off the screen, so that's just you.
Okay.
But question, does it matter if they're sitting up or laying down?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
No, just so you're comfortable. Now, I have a heavy head. When I do it sitting up, I end up doing this and holding my head up. So feel free to do that. Again, it's however, the more comfortable you can be, the better. Even if you want to put your head down on the desk or whatever.
I love that. All right. So let's get going. I'm going to let you lead us.
Great. So as I said, if you would just kind of shut everything off and get comfortable. And this is a short audio. This is the first step of RISE, which is R for relax. So you may have done many progressive relaxations before, but if you would just surrender to this one and allow your focus to begin going inward and in your body. Maybe recognize all of the noises and the sounds around you, if there's traffic out in the street or voices out in the hall. Or maybe you hear your heating or your air conditioning. But if you can, just recognize those noises, those external noises, and then shut them off and allow your concentration to go inward. And just by doing this alone, your nervous system can reboot and relax. So just follow my words. And I'd like you to start by taking a long, slow, deep breath. Breathing into the count of 4 or 5. Pausing and then exhaling. The same count, 4 or 5. And I'd like you to imagine in your mind's eye that there's a pool of warm, relaxing energy circulating around the soles of your feet. Just feel that energy swirl around the base of your feet. And in a moment, when you're ready, breathe in and pull that energy into your feet, through your ankles. Allow it to float up through your calves and your shins to your knees. Allow the energy to pause and circulate around your knees, relaxing that joint. Allow it to move up through your thighs and beginning to fill your pelvic bowl. Allow all those layers of tissue in your pelvis to relax. Take another deep breath. And on the exhale, really allow your hips to fall into the surface where they're resting. And then let that warm pool of energy circulate around your abdomen, comforting, soothing, and relaxing your digestive organs. Feel your respiratory diaphragm relax. On your next inhale, pull that energy up into your chest. Let it fill your lungs, relaxing your lungs. And let it swirl around your heart muscles, relaxing them. Let the energy gather and pool at your shoulders. Allow your shoulders to relax away from your ears a little bit more. Feel that warm, relaxing energy float down your right arm, through your right elbow, and out the fingers and thumb of your right hand. And then your left shoulder. Feel that energy move down through your left arm, the left wrist, and out the fingers of your left hand and the thumb of your left hand. And then feel that energy move up into your neck, coating and soothing your throat. Pull it up over the top of your head, relaxing your scalp and even your hair. Relax your eyes. Relax your mouth and your tongue. Take one more deep cleansing breath and relax your jaw. And then feel your whole body loose, limp, and relaxed. And enjoy the sensation. Maybe take a few more breaths here in this relaxed pose. And remember, tension is who you think you should be, but relaxation is who you are.
Wow, that was powerful. I especially love that. Tension is who you think you should be, and relaxation is who you are. That's powerful. I've never heard the idea of energy swirling at your feet. I love that. Thank you for doing that with us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for allowing me.
Yeah. So once again, I'm actually going to pop up your website so that people can find out more about you and work with you. And do you do anything like workshops on Zoom or anything like that, or is it all traveling?
Yeah. I do some one-on-one. I'm presenting at some conferences. I'm doing a couple of yoga festivals this summer. Mind Fest, which is a mental health workshop here in Louisville, Kentucky, doing that this summer.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, a lot of different things.
I like it. So you're around.
And I'm moving and shaking and doing. Good.
So something that you said that I kind of want to touch on too is the idea of, self-help, how RISE came about is how self-hypnosis was kind of, like a lot of steps and didn't really flow for you. So for somebody who, because I've discovered that a lot of people tend to have reservations and resistance to trying something they think they've already tried.
Right. Sure.
But that doesn't mean that everything's the same. It doesn't even mean that you're the same as the first time that you tried it.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's all in our brain anyway. What would you say to somebody who, is like interested, but thinking, oh, I don't know, I've tried everything?
I would go to the website and listen to some videos and see it should feel real in your body. You should feel a difference. Even after 5 minutes of a relaxation, to take those deep breaths and let your focus and your concentration go inward. How often do we do that?
Yeah.
It should feel real to you. If it doesn't feel real to you, it's not the right practice for you. But it's also not something that you're going to pick up and do in a moment. So it's like a yoga practice. I know the first time I did a down dog, it was not a pretty sight. It was not a good looking down dog. But now it's pretty good. So, it's been practice. I've been practicing it over the years. So, and I think with anything you practice, even riding a bike, the first few times you're kind of falling and you're going back and forth. And then all of a sudden it's smooth. All of a sudden it's just natural. You don't work at it. You don't try. And that's how RISE becomes. It's, give it a little bit of time and attention and it'll just be a part of you. And that's what I'm really hoping, because I think we all need tools right now. We're not getting together the way we used to get together.
No.
And I think we need tools to rein in our mind. There's a lot of chaos in the world. There's a lot going on that has us worried and has us stirred up. But us being worried and stirred up does not help the situation any. If anything, it makes it worse. So it's very important that we look at our thoughts, and if we can't work on the world, at least work on ourselves. At least try to make ourselves the best, most loving versions of ourselves that we can. And I do believe that has a rippling effect out into the world. I do believe that when I meet someone in the grocery store, I have a different attitude now than I did 20 years ago. I'm a different person, and I'm evolving in a conscious way, or hope to be. And I think that's what matters. I think intention is huge. Just saying, I want to do it better. I want it to be easier. I want things to be smoother. I want to stop fighting my life. I want to just live it. I want it to unfold for me. I know myself in my past, I've been one of those who really pushes the river. I see what I want. I see how to get there. So I push it, even though the time may not be right. And so that's a lesson I've been learning and I've been working with. And I think now is a good time because we're also spending more time alone. We have more introspective time. We have more time with our own thoughts. So let's make them positive. Let's make them productive. Let's make them, good for the world, good for us.
Exactly. And, something that you said that I really want to touch on is the idea of it being a practice. And a lot of people think that there won't be any resistance if they're doing the right thing, or and that's not the case. It's just that it's something new.
Right. And there's a lot, we do new things over our whole life. We're always we're trying new recipes that it may
Mhm.
take us 4 times with that new recipe before we really get it right. We
Exactly.
have that patience with things outside of ourselves, but to have that patience with ourselves, to keep working at it for ourselves it's trying.
It is. And and I loved that the example of the baby and saying, you would never say to a little baby, "Oh my God, you didn't walk the first time you tried." Stop, give up. You might as well never do it again. You
Right.
didn't do it
Right.
perfectly. Why can't you show yourself some of the same grace?
Right. Well, and I think mistakes get a bad rap. I think
Me too.
mistakes tell us how not to do it and lead us
Mhm.
in the direction of how we should do it. So even in saying that you made a mistake or I didn't do it right or that didn't feel right or now try it a
Mhm.
different way. It doesn't mean it's wrong. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
it's not the right practice. It means, mix it up. Try something else.
And maybe I'm wrong, but especially in the beginning, maybe it doesn't always feel great. Like
I
sometimes
think
it's a
that's true.
win that you did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and sometimes if you haven't really quieted yourself to listen to how you really feel about things, to let things kind of bubble up inside of
Yeah.
you instead of it the other way around, it can feel awkward and it can be a little scary.
Yeah.
So it's also important to be really honest with what you're feeling. And you know, try to tell someone. And if you can't tell someone, write it down, make it
Mhm.
real. So then it's something you can work with and look at.
I feel compelled to share an analogy. It's kind of like with my brain, I always think of it as either a drunk friend or a little child that doesn't want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Up every 2 seconds. Can I have another glass of water? I'm thirsty. Going to the bathroom,
Yeah.
bouncing around on the bed, the whole thing.
Stalling.
But
You're stalling.
sooner than later, they go to bed, they lay down, and it's quiet and all is good.
Hmm.
But you got to get through like the histrionics of it first,
Yes. Yeah.
knowing what's on the other side.
Right. Right. But also knowing how habit driven we are.
Hmm.
We can make a new habit.
Yeah,
We do it all the time. They're not always productive habits, but
exactly.
we pick up habits.
Yeah, but that's the whole point too, is that it's your habit not to do it until it's your habit to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's setting the attention.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, and I love that idea too. Um, for those that don't really understand what an intention is, why is that so important? And what doesn't it, I mean, you've mentioned a few of them, but what does it look like?
An intention is stating what you want. It is really just because we can be kind of wishy-washy. I want to
Hmm.
be happy. Well, what does that look like? What does that mean? That's kind of vague. That's kind of general, you know? Um, so it's really stating what it is that you want. And that is setting an intention. And when you set an intention, then energy kind of works towards it to make it happen.
Hmm.
I think was it Einstein or was it Emerson? I think Emerson said it is like when you set your mind to do something, the universe has a way of working to make it happen. So it's kind of that manifesting
Conspiring in
energy
your
and the law
favor.
of attraction.
Yes.
But until you name it and say, this is what I want, I'm done being this way. I want to be this way. Until
Yeah.
you can name it, the energy is going to be wishy-washy.
Yeah. And it's kind of like ordering food. Well, I'd
Yeah.
like some food. Can you send it to me?
Yeah. Bring me
What
something
kind?
spicy.
We've got
What
a
does that
menu
mean?
here.
Yeah. Yes. But it does. It sets the energy in motion.
Yeah. Yeah. For the longest time, I really felt like I didn't want to even set like my intentions or my goals because it would somehow limit me. And I realized later that, well, one, you can always change it
Mhm.
as you grow, but two, it was just me, like my brain not wanting to do the work,
Yeah.
not wanting to look
Well,
at it.
a trick for that one is say, this is my intention. I would like this or something better.
Yes. Oh, I like
And then
that.
you're leaving the door open for the things that you don't know, because sometimes
Yeah.
great things are meant for us better
Mhm.
than what we would have even been able to dream up ourselves. And so it's kind of leaving that door open of, bring it on.
Or something better. No,
Or
I love that because
better.
yeah, because that was my thing. Is like, well, this is what I want, but what if there's something even better out there? And
Yeah. Leave that door open. Yeah, because we don't know. I mean, if we name it, if we get, it could be better.
Yeah. And another thing too is keep your eyes open because a lot of times we miss the things we even ask for without even because it doesn't look exactly how we imagined it
Yes.
would,
Yes.
or it comes in a different form. It's
Yes.
kind of like saying, I want more love in my life, and then you get a puppy or something and not even thinking about the fact that that's some new love right there.
Right. Right. Well, and I think we take it when things don't work out or when it's a negative thing that it's against us, when
Yeah.
really that might be showing us that there's something better behind it.
Exactly.
So
I can,
be
yeah.
patient and
Yeah,
don't
no,
force the river.
yeah, I think that's so important because if you think of the universe as being on your side,
Mm-hmm.
that, there's some reason for everything, that, like something better's coming, then it takes a sting out of, whatever. And the thing is like, and this took me a long time too, because I've lost so many people that are really important to me at a very young age. And in fact, my dad's 77 and I've lost more significant people than he has. But my point is that, I used to be victim mode. Woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Well, first of all, I'm not the center of the universe. Maybe.
Sorry.
Sorry. Maybe what happened with
Me
them
either.
is what was best for them. I just happen to be a part of their lives. So, it's all about perspective. And I love that. Now, we only have about 2 minutes left. Is there any final thoughts that you'd love to share with the audience, or if you want to reiterate any special points?
Well, I can't remember if I said this or not, but something I've been thinking a lot about lately is how our brains don't really care if we're happy or not. They want us to be safe.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So don't always believe what your brain's telling you and the limitations that your brain puts on you. Remember that your brain is trying to keep you safe, not necessarily give you choice or working towards your happiness. So that's when we have to put in the extra effort to really make it happen.
Yeah, and you can say to your brain, "Thank you, that served me at that point in
Yes,
time."
we
But
need that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but now we're moving on.
Yeah. I feel safe. I want more.
Yeah. Yes, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, old friend.
Yeah.
But anyway, I popped up your website one more time.
Thank
Everybody, you can find out more about Mary there, workshops, her book, everything. There's videos, so go check her out. Mary, thank you so much for being on the show today. It has been an absolute pleasure to get to know you better, and hopefully you'll be on the show again.
Great. Look forward to it.
Have a great night.
Take care, everybody.
And as I mentioned, that is all the time that we have for today. So what day is it? It's Thursday. Yay. So we'll see you again on Monday. Enjoy your weekend. And once again, happy St. Patrick's Day.